2023 was, in my opinion, a decent year for music. In 2022 and 2021, I listened to numerous projects that I considered perfect or close to perfect, like Injury Reserves By the Time I Get to Phoenix in 21, and Gene Dawson's Chaos Now in 2022. There wasn't a single project that came out this year that I would call perfect. However, this was the most difficult end of the year list I've made so far. Lots of projects were cut, which you will see in the honorable mentions, and some I listened to for the first time just weeks ago in an attempt to catch up on music I missed during the year. With full transparency, 2023 was a year where I really got into underground music, specifically rap, and my list reflects that. I did just catch a lot of other releases last minute that do not fall into that category though. This is a top 40 list with a good amount of honorable mentions. This could have easily been a top 50, but I felt good with how my list is currently. Let's get into it. Okay, so for honorable mentions, we have Bakar with Halo, Tizo Touchdown, How Do You Sleep at Night, Jesser, I think that's how you say it, with Lupin, Molly Santana with Melange, Glock 40 Spaz with Took the Biggest Risk, Buliman with Tony, Quanic, Step Dream, Panchico, Failed at Mass, Funeral, Asphyxiated, Lorraine, I Killed Your Dog, Dark Garments, Forever Swaggin', Rich Amiri, Ghetto Fabulous. Please do not kill me for having Rich Amiri on my list. It's only an honorable mention. Che, Kruger, Isaiah TG, Alexandria, Fresh Boy Swag, Rock Bottom, Yapo JJ, Pluto, Lunchbox, New Jazz, BK the Ruler, Level 5 Part 1, and George Clanton with Ooh Rapaya. So to kick off the top 40, I have Spelling with Spelling and the Mystery School. Spelling presents a new record of reworked past cuts with her band The Mystery School. These remakes are full of life and fun and are a joy to listen to. I would even say a couple of these songs are probably better than their originals, like Hard to Please for example. A follow-up to 2021's What We Have EP, Summers returns to form over his classic plug-and-B sound. A lot of fans were unhappy with Summers' change in sonic direction and clamored for him to go back to his roots, which made him so popular in the underground. Everything about What We Didn't Have screams nostalgia, going back to past times when the plug-and-B sound was being pioneered. Summers even brings back his most common collaborator, Autumn, and the two team up for Martin and Gina, which immediately goes down as another stellar moment between the two. It's hard to find a lot wrong with this project. It's exactly what fans have been asking for, and it's also a meaningful and symbolic step in Summer's career. At number 38, I have High C with Left 4 Dead. Although Left 4 Dead is High C's most long-winded work, it's also his most melodic and versatile. High C taps into these auto-tuned singing pockets that sound so surreal and angelic. Every single song on this tape is good. High C's production has also been amazing and extremely unique to himself specifically, but this project's production is a whole different story. There's so many different sounds and styles that clash to make some of the best underground rap music of 2023. He's never sounded so comfortable before, while at the same time still taking risks and maintaining his one-of-one aesthetic. At number 37, I have Trendsetter with X-Tape. Immediately upon first listen, X-Tape was one of my favorite underground projects of the year. The bass is deafening, the beats are addictive, the flows are arrogant, and the delivery is jarring. There are large parts on this project where you can't even understand what Trendsetter is saying, and yet it still sounds amazing. You Feel, the intro track, and Servant are two of my favorite songs of 2023, so if you don't want to listen to the entire project, I'd recommend just starting out with those two and seeing if you like it. The best part about X-Tape in my opinion is that it's not even complete. Trendsetter just released a deluxe to his project last month, and yet X-Tape by itself is still more than sufficient. At number 36, I have Hard Rock with 101. Hard Rock's debut studio album encapsulates everything he is as an artist: the weird deliveries, entertaining flows, and off-kilter production. It's fitting that this is his debut studio effort because it's also his most complete project artistically, more than the Slatty Don EP and 808 Speaker Knockers. Hard Rock once again doesn't play it safe and lets his personality and artistic vision shine through. 101 was a grower as I wasn't sure about it on first listen, but after countless re-listens here in February 2024, 101 finds itself on my end of year list. At number 35, I have Sofago with his Go EP. A lot of people are writing Sofago off. He was verbally pelted over the internet for evolving his sound and disappearing or acting mysterious during the peak of his popularity surge. Fago's debut studio album Pink Hearts was overlooked and dismissed by fans, rightfully or wrongfully. I enjoyed Pink Hearts after re-listening numerous times, but I understood where people were coming from by not enjoying it. The record didn't come across as Fago's own sound. It sounded miles away from the music he blew up with. This turn was necessary for Fago's growth as an artist, but Pink Hearts sounded too similar to the Travis Scott and Cactus Jack aesthetic. It sounded like he was trying to fit in too much. However, Go is a completely different story. Fago sounds comfortable again. He sounds hungry and aggressive, something he hadn't replicated since the Let the Girls Slay diss track. He flows over this production so naturally as these beats fit him like a glove. This mini comeback was needed for Fago to overturn the discourse about him on the internet. He may never get to the heights popularity-wise that people once thought, but he cemented himself artistically. At number 34, I have Jeff Rosenstock with Hell Mode. Hell Mode is an enthralling rock experience from start to finish with few hiccups. For the critical acclaim that this album has received, it definitely didn't disappoint. It isn't going 100 miles per hour for the entire record, it rather chooses which points to put the pedal to the metal, and it makes for some of the most exciting climaxes of 2023. My favorite track and one of the best songs of the year, 3 Summers, has many highlights like that just inside one track. It features multiple different sonic directions, and the energy Jeff brings to the song elevates it infinitely higher. The lyrics add a lot of distinction and personality to the album as well, at times getting politically charged, which fits in with the punk rock genre and aesthetic Jeff is working inside. The vocals on Hell Mode are layered at points, gracing the record with even more vibrance and sonic depth. All of these elements are thrown together and then mixed perfectly. Jeff Rosenstock not only created one of the most entertaining projects of 2023, but one of the most important as well. At number 33, I have Kara Jackson with Why Does the Earth Give Us People to Love. I'd never heard of Kara Jackson before 2023, but she wowed me with this record. Kara's voice really makes her music easy on the ears, as it's extremely welcoming and friendly. The instrumentation was nice and mellow, but it evolves along with Kara as each track goes on. Kara also takes some chances on this album, making songs that really get out there in terms of length, which in my opinion went over really well. No Fun / Party was my favorite cut, but there's good stuff from front to back on here. If you didn't know Kara Jackson before, get familiar ASAP. At number 32, I have Fanfare by Dorian Electra. Dorian Electra's Fanfare is one of the wildest sonic experiences of 2023. I'm not even sure what genre to throw this album into, not like it needs to be bound by imaginary parameters anyways. Dorian's vocals and lyrics go hand in hand together as they both get really rigid and raunchy at times. Their vocals go through so many different effects and filters that you start to lose count. Fanfare is its own entity. It's out there, it's creative, and it's hard to find another project that sounds like this. Although it does become sonically overwhelming, while listening I enjoyed basically every song. I haven't spun Fanfare as much as the projects higher on this list, but it's still one of the better ones of 2023. At number 31, I have Gumbo by Young Nudie. Young Nudie's Gumbo is straightforward trap, but amazing at that. The beats are electric and Nudie's rapping and bars are entertaining and witty as always. He really let his personality show on this project, naming every single song after food. There isn't a lot I have to say about this album except for the fact it's wildly enjoyable, hence it making my top 40. Now into the top 30, I have Cemetery's Butcher House mixtape. Butcher House was my introduction to Cemetery's music after hearing about him for years, but never spinning any of his work. It's my understanding that Cemetery fans prefer his old work, specifically the Rainbow Bridge series, over this new sound, but I actually prefer Butcher House over those mixtapes. They're both extremely experimental and cutting edge, but the horrorcore inspired Butcher House sound has a bigger impact on me. The production and Cemetery's vocals on here are so daring and I've never heard anything like it before. It's an underground, modern adaptation of horrorcore, a peek into what horrorcore can sound like, and it's awesome. At number 29, I have Snow Strippers with April Mixtape 3. Like Cemetery, this project was also my introduction to Snow Strippers. April Mixtape 3 kicked off their most commercially successful year yet, boasting a feature from Lil Uzi Vert on track 16, It's a Dream. This tape has so much flavor and bounce and is filled with addictive beats and rhythms. It's a fun ride that doesn't slow down for 1 second, and you're fully satisfied once you reach the destination. At number 28, I have Funeral with Gorpak. From what I've heard of Funeral's music, this is the most focused and artistic project yet. The bloody, sinister theme paints a vivid picture of Funeral's complex and troubling emotions and thoughts. The alley this project goes down isn't just some of the most twisted digicore you'll hear, but it wanders off into horrorcore and emo as well. The Porch is my favorite song. The track contains some of the most somber strings I've heard in a while, and the beat builds off that foundation with layered 808s and a reverse melody, while Funeral's vocals sound totally helpless and distraught. He lets the beat ride for the second half, utilizing different dejected but pristine vocal samples. Nothing could have prepared me for the content on Gorpak, but it's an important listen. At number 27, I have Smoke Dope 2016 with 2016. 2016 was the most surprising project I listened to all year, as I didn't expect to love it as much as I did. The production is formulaic but otherworldly. The early 2010s Clams Casino influence is obviously present, but I wouldn't say the beats are ripping off that style. They're made in an admirable and appreciative manner and are also distinct enough from the original ideas. Smoke Dope's rapping complements the production so well, almost perfectly. He's mastered how to rap and flow over these type of beats. His tone, the catchy hooks, it all works in unison. This project isn't groundbreaking, but it's more than solid. At number 26, I have K Tremine, K Tronada, and Amine with their self-titled collab project, K Tremine. This album came out at the perfect time right before summer. This project radiates that type of energy. Amine's rapping is on point and Kaytranada's production is sublime. The two's talents and capabilities complement each other beyond well. One of the cleanest and smoothest albums of 2023. At number 25, I have Black Belt Eagle Scout with The Land, the Water, the Sky, the most grounded album of the year. Catherine Paul delivers a passionate and heartfelt record with songs that grow and great introspective songwriting. Don't Give Up is the track I return to the most, a beautiful ballad about putting one foot in front of the other and pushing through whatever you're going through. I had the pleasure of seeing Black Belt Eagle Scout at Pitchfork Festival in Chicago this past summer, and they had my favorite set of the weekend. At number 24, I have Yule with Soft Scars. A transcendent and glitchy trip through the mind of Yule. Pop, rock, shoegaze, and more are all thrown into one project. Yule keeps the listener guessing what they're going to get next, making it easy and very natural to stay engaged and attentive. These songs are downright dreamy and imaginative. There's nothing simple about what Yule is doing here. They've crafted each and every second of the album carefully and meticulously. It's not hard to acknowledge how great Soft Scars is. Its creativity and genre blending is far beyond its years. At number 23, I have Lucky with Sex, Money, Drugs. It doesn't matter if you don't find Lucky's new work to be as interesting or creative as his past. No matter what, he continues to improve. That's not to say that Sex, Money, Drugs is as good as 2017's Watch My Back, for example, but Lucky gets more and more mature and refined with each record he puts out. He drops numerous quotables, comes up with clever flows, and fun, catchy hooks. Sex, Money, Drugs is another worthy addition to Lucky's catalog. At number 22, I have Gothtober the Mixtape by Zay Guapkid. This was one of the latest entries in this list. Gothtober the Mixtape is such a fun project that crosses between different styles and sounds. While doing that, Zay carves his own lane and dark aesthetic that's more intriguing than a lot of other underground stuff at the moment, not taking away from anyone else's work at all. Zay Guapkid clearly has a unique artistic vision, and it's going to be fun to see how he continues to grow. At number 21, I have another underground project, 1AM with House Party. 1AM impressed me with the very first project of his that I've heard. You can count him into the group of underground rappers that are doing their own interesting things. Like a lot of the underground's best, the beat selection is always key, and 1AM's beat selection is up there with his talented peers. He rides these beats effortlessly, dropping flows that come off so clean and like second nature. I should have played this project more than I did in 2023, but that doesn't mean my feelings about it changed. Now into the top 20, I have Danny Brown with Quaranta. Danny Brown has always been very vulnerable and real in his music. He's never been afraid to express his emotions, oftentimes being especially dark, no matter how twisted it could possibly come off. Now into his 40s, Danny has new perspective on lots of things and issues. He spends Quaranta, the Italian word for 40, reflecting on his mental state, gentrification, and more. The production on this album is great despite not being awfully complex. It's on the simpler side and it works like a charm, giving Danny center stage to express what he desires. On this album, Danny comes across frustrated and in despair, coming to grips with certain things and situations that are deteriorating. He seems even annoyed at this premise and annoyed at the fact that he's 40 and still has to deal with these pressing problems. Danny talks about his childhood and growing up in Detroit on YBP, which stands for Young Black and Poor, with guest Bruiser Wolf adding commentary on systemic violence and feeling like his city shows no love towards him, hinting at the growing animosity he may feel towards his hometown. Jen's Terrific Vacation, a phrase that plays on the word gentrification, talks about similar concepts, featuring this eerie and trippy production and mixing, and a story about black occupied spaces becoming intruded on and removed by white people. As the album goes on, Danny focuses less on these external factors and keys in on the internal ones instead. He seemed to have gained a sense of clarity in his life, saying, "Now I understand the best things in life are free" on Shakedown. The outro track, Bass Jam, reinforces that idea as Danny comes to peace with the situation and where he's at in his life. Quaranta is a loaded album filled with so much depth and nuance. Danny Brown somehow created something as intricate as 2016's Atrocity Exhibition. At number 19, I have Dev Stax with Scriptures. Dev Stax Scriptures is one of the most beautifully composed pieces of underground rap made in 2023. The production taps into this heavenly layer of dramatism that gives the project a strong sense of seriousness. Each track seamlessly flows into the next. Even if you don't regularly listen to underground rap, I feel as most music listeners would be able to appreciate this level of musical theater and creativity. Dev Stax is another name to keep an eye on. At number 18, I have Everything Harmony by the Lemon Twigs. No other project in 2023 made my heart feel so warm and full. The Lemon Twigs' Everything Harmony features some of the most precious and cozy vocal layering and instrumentation you'll hear. These elements combine together to create a sonic safe haven where worry and dread don't exist, although the lyrics and song titles on here kinda contradict that notion with Every Day is the Worst Day of My Life and I Don't Belong to Me. My only real reservation about this album is it's clearly strongly influenced by the Beatles. Thankfully, the Lemon Twigs don't abuse abuse that blueprint in an offensive or disingenuous way. The influence is obviously there, but they put their own spin and twist on it. Everything Harmony presents a fresh take on a traditionally older sound. At number 17, I have Black Market Cart with Today I Lay Down, and slight trigger warning for mention of death here. The night I heard Today I Lay Down, I was brought to tears. I cried for about 30 minutes. Black Market Cart, the creator of this project, or Kai Wessener, I hope I'm pronouncing your last name right, passed away in 2023, and they left us with this beautiful EP. Given the context, every little tiny noise and mutter on here is given a new, sad, heart-shattering meaning. Every string, guitar riff, and cymbal clash. Every eerie vocal that sounds like it's coming from beneath the ground that we walk on. Every majestic electronic sound that circles the mind and body and puts you in a trance. What should have been the start of a long and prosperous career was cut short. We will forever remember you, Kai, and we all hear you. At number 16, I have King Cruel with Space Heavy. Space Heavy is, in my opinion, King Cruel's most devastating album, and that's saying something. The instrumentation and vocals sound like they're being dragged through the mud, and I mean that in the best way possible. Seagirl with Raveena being the best example. King Cruel has always made especially sad music, but this one tops the emotion of his previous efforts. At number 15, I have Eve Toomer with, and this is a long one, Praise the Lord who chews, but which does not consume, or simply a hop between worlds. Eve Toomer has one of the most impressive discographies in psychedelic rock, and they continue to add to it. Although it didn't reach the artistic high points of 2020's Heaven to a Tortured Mind, Hop Between Worlds stands on its own. The songs are still extremely creative, including my song of the year, the instrumentation is chaotic, and the vocals are experimental. Everything that is loved about Eve Toomer is still present on this record. At number 14, I have The Age of Pleasure by Janelle Monáe. It would be difficult for any artist to follow up an album as good as Dirty Computer was. Janelle Monáe did that and then some. The Age of Pleasure is more lighthearted, but that doesn't take away from its artistry. There are plenty of catchy hooks and flows on this album, and great sensual songwriting. I came away from The Age of Pleasure with little issues, and I had a great time. At number 13, I have Che with Closed Captions. Closed Captions was undoubtedly one of my absolute favorite underground projects of 2023. The production is stellar, the energy doesn't slow down for one moment, and Che maximizes what these songs can be, adding great infectious flows to these tremendous beats. Blueberry Backwood and SOS are great instances. I played this project so much throughout the summer and the end of the year and never got tired of it. Che is another artist to watch as he seems destined to blow up. At number 12, I have Boy Genius with The Record. The Record was a long time coming and it lived up to its high expectations. Lucy Dacus, Phoebe Bridgers, and Julian Baker fused singer-songwriter and indie elements together to create sincere and earnest songs filled with honesty and emotion. It really can't be overstated how good of songwriters these three are. They're equally as clever as they are candid. The instrumentation here is impactful, Satanist being the track where it shines the brightest. An impressive, cohesive record that just missed my top 10. At number 11, the last one before the top 10, I have Kelela with Raven. Like Boy Genius is The Record, Kalela's Raven was a long time coming as well. This was her first full-length studio album in 6 years. 6 years. 2017's Take Me Apart left such a strong impression on fans that, as the years went on, people wondered where she went. In 2023, she finally returned with Raven, and it's an incredible record. The first time I listened to it, I was unsure about my feelings on it. It wasn't bad by any means, but I felt that some of the more spontaneous moments were kinda dull. As I kept listening, I learned to appreciate those parts as they're necessary for the evolution of this project. Front to back, Raven is filled with moody, futuristic R&B ballads that are hypnotizing. The production is dense and multifaceted, at times also ominous and spacey, creating a perfect atmosphere for Kalela's vocals to shine. Each song brings something new and interesting to the table. Raven was well worth the 6-year wait. Now into the top 10. Placing Destroy Lonely's If Looks Could Kill is probably the most unpopular pick on this list, having it inside my top 10. To me, Lone scratches an itch. The production on this album is fantastic, the use of guitar samples is extremely creative and refreshing. Lone's rapping style is very jarring, lots of people critique him for sounding uninterested and like he's falling asleep while rapping. I understand this criticism but love those aspects. It more so sounds like he's comfortable and relaxed in my opinion. Although it's incredibly long and definitely could have been shorter, I still love most of the songs on this project. Overall, it's a fun listen and an album that makes you feel empowered and confident. Yapo JJ is one of the best up-and-coming artists in underground rap, taking strides this year in both popularity and artistry. Evolution of Zur showcases that. It's efficient, sitting at just 12 minutes, but maximizes its time. Yapo JJ's rapping is smooth and crisp, and these beats are phenomenal. 1-0 is one of the best and most creative of 2023. This project is simple but great and original. A fresh sound. My most listened to project of 2023 was Osama's Son's Flex Music, by a long shot. The songs in here are beyond addicting, the beats and flows are infectious, and Osama's rapping just continues to improve. He sounds more settled in and assured with each song he releases. Blonde, For the Flex, Trenches and Kills are some of the best underground rap of the year. It's arrogant and boastful music that's wildly enjoyable. Yes, Dom Corleo released a full-length album this year, but I can't get over 2014. This project sums up everything Dom is about. The top-tier production, catchy flows and lyrics, and the sleek bravado. Party Girls and Love Drunk are two of Dom's most carefully crafted and best songs to date. They're light and loose, but still impact you on a deep level with its meticulousness. If someone was to ask me what to listen to when getting into Dom Corleo's music, I would suggest 2014 without hesitation. A Great Chaos is Ken Carson's most mature, introspective, and imaginative piece of art. Ken always delivers a strong sense of hubris, but this go around it's different. Throughout the record, Ken reflects on his situation and mental state. He brags about everything he's achieved, but acknowledges his shortcomings. Lose It shows this. The beat is deafening but uninhibited, and Ken makes the most out of that space. He talks about how he's going through it. This is a super important moment in Ken's career, as lots of things have changed since his emergence from the underground. Fighting My Demons also co-signs this reflective nature. A common theme of A Great Chaos is Ken's newfound vulnerability. It sounds as if he's trying to trick himself into being okay. As the album progresses, the sound and content of the record loosens up a bit. It concludes with I Need You, which comes across as Ken admitting to himself he's not okay alone. Whoever or whatever he's talking to, he views it as a necessity. A Great Chaos is a powerful 47-minute look in the mirror. The first time I listened to Guts, I was extremely disappointed. I thought that Olivia Rodrigo's growth as an artist staggered, and that this record was a lot less memorable than 2021's Sour. Upon re-listen, I couldn't have been more wrong. The songwriting is better, which is to be expected. Olivia's perspective changed a little bit, being 19 now, rather than 17 2 years ago. The songwriting is still very teenage girly, but that's why I love it and can relate to it. The songs in here are more mature and structured better, and they feel as if they have more purpose than the ones on the previous record did. Guts definitely doesn't have as many hits as Sour did, but it does showcase Olivia's progression as a musical visionary. Nobody had Andre 3000 releasing a straight-up instrumental album in 2023, let alone an album by itself. New Blue Sun is a beautiful peek into the mind of 3K as he learns the instruments he's playing on this record while recording. Sonically, there are very pretty moments on here and also very dark ones. It's calm and grounded, but at times threatening and sinister. I'm not very well versed in the ambient genre, but this album is something to behold. It's different. Something about it commands your attention and is far past effective. New Blue Sun is transcendent. It takes you on a spiritual journey rich with flavor and character. Osama Season is my 2023 underground rap album of the year. It's a project that, once Osama's Son completely blows up, that fans look back on and say, yeah, this is where it all started. The production is aggressive and hectic, often characterized as rage music, and the rapping is potent and fun. Almost every single song is a highlight, rarely are there any moments that are boring or uninteresting. Osama Season was a bold statement, a moment where Osama's Son announced his arrival. Jane Remover's Census Designated is a shoegaze epic that captures Jane's emotions in a raw and noisy way. The guitars on here are thick and dense, covering up the vocals perfectly. Not too much, not too little. The hooks are memorable and real. The one on the intro track, Cage Girl / Cam Girl, never fails to make my eyes watery. On my first listen of this album, I thought some monotony started to set in during the second half, but I discovered a newfound appreciation and love for those moments during subsequent re-listens. There's not a whole lot wrong I can find with this project. It isn't perfect, but it's damn near close. And now finally, my 2023 album of the year is Paramore's This Is Why. This record is compact, sitting at 10 tracks in 36 minutes, but every single moment is constructed beautifully. The songwriting and song concepts are creative and authentic, only usurped by the perfect song structures. Liar and Thick Skull I always come back to. Literally the only thing keeping me from deeming this project perfect is the fact that I find the title and intro track to be just a little uninterestingly repetitive. Outside of that, I really have no complaints. And yeah, that's going to be my list. This is my first video in a while. I think my last one came out like January 1st. I intended to get this video out sooner. I was actually working on it like for 2 weeks in January, and then I just stopped for like 3 to 4 weeks. So this should have been out earlier than it's going to be, but it's whatever. I did change my channel name Used to be Shine All the Time, now it's going to be Shine Armor. I just think that Shine All the Time, that was an idea I came up with a long time ago, and like a lot of the social media handles for that you really can't get, so they're already occupied, and when you look up Shine All the Time, other things pop up other than my channel, and I think Shine Armor is just going to kind of narrow that down a little bit. I do apologize for the delay on this video. It is pretty late to be putting out end of the year list for 2023, but it is what it is now. I am in school, and I am always preoccupied with that. I have school 5 days a week, so even though I would like to make videos more often, sometimes it's really just not feasible. Unfortunately, I don't make any money on these videos yet. If I was consistent, maybe that would be different, but I do intend to be more consistent. That's something I'm actively going to try going forward. All of my links will be in the description. I do have a Substack that I'm actively writing on. I write about sports mainly. I have some music articles on there that are older, but going forward it's probably going to be mostly sports. My Twitter, my music board, my letterboxd, all of that's going to be in the description. Let me know what you thought about my list. Do you agree, disagree? Do we have any projects in common? What do you think about my album of the year? All of that, let me know in the comments. And another thing I'm curious about is last year I did like music roundups for months at the beginning of the year, just about the new music that came out. Let me know if you'd be interested in that type of content. I am more than open to making it if that's something that, you know, whoever's watching this will enjoy, so let me know. And now finally I am done, so until next time, I'll see you soon.